Hi, this is Dave the Oven Guy. I'm on the south side of Chicago in front of this nice new, shiny, brand new Bayco oven made by Gus Pro up in Canada. And I want to show everybody basically what happens when a Bayco oven starts. Not every oven goes through this process. Not every different manufacturer goes through this process, but most of them will go through something similarly. So let me take you around to the back of the oven by the burners and point out a couple things to you. On a Bayco or a Gus Pro oven, there's two burners. The top one's for the afterburner, and the bottom one is for the process chamber. On a modern Bayco Gus Pro oven, the afterburner always comes on first. It goes up to temperature before it turns on the process chamber. So we don't have any, there's no ability for any pollutants to escape out of the stack. Now, on an older 1960s, 1970s Bayco model, a lot of them are set so the process chamber goes on first and gets up to 300 degrees before the afterburner goes on. The reason being is they wanted to save money on gas. Maybe we should do that again sometime in the future, but right now, we want to make sure we don't put out any pollutants at all. So, the ignition process basically goes like this. There's a control panel that comes out of the oven over here, through this wire here, into this box. Inside this box is a device called a direct spark ignition module. The direct spark ignition module is designed to open up the valve and open up the valve for the gas and put a spark through at the same time. There's other type of ignition that ovens have, where they will have a more of a delay between the pilot light going on and the gas valve opening up. Basically, they'll light a pilot light without opening up the gas valve at the same time. Now over here, so the electrical charge comes into here, tells the direct spark ignition module that we are going to start up. And direct spark ignition module has some computer brain stuff in it that controls the process of the ignition. So over here, we have the burner itself. Here's the gas valve. Here's a high pressure safety. Here's a low pressure safety. Here's another gas valve here. Excuse me. And over here, excuse me, we have the pilot light line going here, going all the way into the burner itself here. Here's our ignition spark electrode, and that is a flame rod. On smaller ovens, we use flame rods because they're more efficient with a smaller oven. On larger ovens, they might use a UV or an IR detector to make sure that the flame is on in there. Here's the blower motor for the oven. And what happens when we start up is that there's one more component I want to point out to you down here. This right here. This is an air proving switch. So when the oven is calling for heat, it goes in the direct spark ignition module. The first thing that happens is the blower goes on to make sure we have air blowing into the oven. And that's proven by the airflow switch down here. So the blower goes on, this makes sure we have airflow going into it. It operates by a pressure differential between this tube here and the air in the room. So when there's suction here, this air proving switch is enabled. And then if the controller in here sees that, it's going to open up this gas valve here at the same time that is going to send a spark through here. And that's going to light up the oven because we're going to have a gas flowing through here for a pilot light. Behind the spark electrode is the flame rod. It's a little metal rod that sits into the flame. Once the flame electrode sees once the flame rod sees the flame, it heats up, and if that doesn't happen in 6 to 8 seconds, the direct spark ignition module will go into reset, and there'll be a little red light on the far side of there that goes on. And then after it's proved with the flame rod that there is a pilot light in there, then this gas valve will open up and send the big flame through. This little dial down here is how we adjust our flame length. If we want our flame length to be slower, we turn it to a lower number. Shorter, we turn it to a lower number. So those are basically the components that happen, the stuff that needs to happen in order for the oven to light. Half of it's mechanical and half of it is safety. If during the oven burn, at some time we lose our blower, so we lose our blower and we no longer blow air in there, the direct spark ignition module will say fault and turn off the burner. If at any time the flame goes out and the flame rod back there does not sense flame, the direct spark ignition module says, that's it, we're done. If at any time this valve faults, then the flame rod won't detect any flame and it'll shut off the oven. So that's basically the startup procedure for the afterburner. The startup procedure for the process chamber is the same procedure. With a Bayco Guspro oven, you could change the components on the top and the bottom. They're the same components, they're the same burners that go through there. Now to start up the oven itself, the startup process happens up here. This is the control panel. I'm going to flip the power on. Here is our process chamber controller. Here's our afterburner controller. Here's our process chamber safety. Here's our afterburner safety. So to start up the oven, we come all the way up here and we just hold this button down. Now we press our run reset button and it starts up the oven. But our burner is not on right now. And the reason our burner is not on right now is a little thing in here called a purge time. And it's just blowing air into the oven right now. And it's making sure there's no gas or anything building up in there. And if we come over here and open up the door of the oven, we can see the process chamber up on top and the afterburner up there on top, and the process burner is on the bottom behind the cart itself. So I am going to default using a secret method, the purge timer, and the afterburner is going to start up. If you saw really quick when the afterburner started up, there was a really short flame. That was our pilot flame, and then our longer flame went in there. So that doesn't happen. So the whole process I was talking about, where checking the flame, then checking the airflow, checking the flame to make sure it was in there, and all those valves opening up, happened in those couple seconds before the oven started. So it works pretty efficiently, and you usually don't have any problems at all with it. So I'm going to close this door, because it's getting hot in here. This is Dave the Oven Guy from Custom Design Chemicals. You can find me at cdchemicals@att.net. You can find our website at www.cdchemicals.com or .net. So thanks for watching, and let me get this thing